hang on to your seat, baby, cause this one's a screamer. Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
What's going on, entertainment? So time comes out with another video, and yes, the time has come for us to talk about this album by Chris Brown called Brown. Okay, now I don't know when I'm gonna drop this video. Probably gonna be like on a Tuesday or something like that, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm very disappointed. And the reason why is because I feel like this project had a lot of songs that were not needed. I don't know who got the final look at this album before it was submitted in to all these streaming platforms where it dropped, because at least I would say 9 to 10 of those songs could have been left off. Why Chris Brown decides to always go for these big, long projects will never make sense to me. I always feel as if, like Jocelyn said, and I said on my community post, it's quality, not quantity. Because it's like, if you're going to make a whole bunch of songs and put it on a project, you have to go back and really listen to it and say, hey, do I really need this? Does it really flow into this song? And some of it to me did not flow in. Now, what I will say though is he has some tracks to where the way Chris Brown music is, in my opinion, I feel like a lot of his hits, the audience does not recognize until a little bit later on. So there's a few songs I feel like over time, the audience is going to really learn to appreciate it. And then it's going to end up charting all types of charts because the music will be appreciated more. Now, the problem is because the project is 27 songs, it's going to take a little bit of time for us to appreciate some of the songs. All right, let's start off with the album cover. Now, this album cover caused a lot of controversy because they felt like he was copying other artists. And then most importantly, they thought he was trying to copy Michael Jackson. Now, if he was, which he says he doesn't, Chris Brown doesn't even like to be compared to Michael Jackson. So let's start there. Okay, that's one thing I respect about him, because at least he's not like insulting enough to want to be compared to Michael Jackson. Okay, because I don't think so. Not that he's not talented, but I just feel like when people compare artists in this generation to like artists of that generation that have like accomplished and done so much things different than the artists that are doing now, I feel like it's a little insulting. But Chris Brown though is one of the people that could get close to him. One of them. Okay. The album cover, I feel like when it comes to the music, it does not correlate. No shade. This gives me like slow jams, R&B down. You get what I'm saying? Very melodic. The songs did not match the cover. I kind of don't like when artists do that because it kind of ruins it for me, because when I see the cover, because the cover dropped a little bit before the album dropped, I expected like, oh, he's gonna be like singing some on there. He was, but it was like what he was singing to me was very surface level. It wasn't like I'm falling deep in love with you. You know what I'm saying? Like it didn't give this cover. So I do feel as if the cover art could have been different versus, especially with the material that we did get within the project. Let's start off with the first track. The first track was Leave You Alone. I like that track. That is a track that I added to the playlist. Anytime a song of mine that I listen to that is added to the playlist, I feel like it's worthy for a 10 out of 10 type of rating. Leave You Alone is really good. I like the fact that it started off with like a slow guitar riff, and then it kind of went into him singing. Like that guitar riff, 8 down. So I like Leave You Alone. That was one of the tracks I still listen to since the album has dropped and have been listening to it. And I wanted to give this a fair assessment and not listen to it in one day and just drop a whole recap. Woo! I hate when people do that because that's not even fair. You got to really listen to it. And it's 27 songs, so you really got to listen to it. Next, we have Obvious. Now, the beginning of it, I thought he was going to sample Down Low. Okay, y'all know that little Kim song? Can you make it down low? Can you make it down low? Okay, and then she was like, he liked my number, went and then Lennon on my email. Can I make it down low? Can I make it down low? I thought it was going to be that. I would have preferred that. Wasn't a big fan of Obvious, and the only reason why is because it sounds like a lot of generic songs that are out there. That's a lot of my problem with this album. Some of the songs were very much generic Chris Brown radio. And I wanted something different. Like, I don't know. I just wanted something different. I just wasn't a fan of it. It wasn't hitting like I thought it was going to hit. So obvious to me was a no. A lot of the chorus was repeated throughout the song as well, which I'm not too big of a fan of. So that song I did not add to the playlist. Next, we have Honey Pack. Okay, now I wasn't the biggest fan of the lyrics, but this is a song that I feel like is going to trend on the radio. Give it a few months, the radio is going to pick this up, and it's going to be a hit. I can see it. I can see it. I can see it. I can see it. Okay, just because of the chorus to how he goes, "Honey with the honey pack, honey with the honey pack." Like I really feel as if that is going to chart eventually. Okay, now I will say though, Chris, if using henny packs at your age, that is a medical problem. But you feel me? I hope that was just song inspiration and that you're not out here, drinking that henny pack. You feel me? If y'all don't know what that is, it's like a liquid little thingy that gets you erect. Okay? And it's really, for men that have problems getting it up. Well, it's not really for that because some dudes, they don't have an issue with that. They just want to be like the whole session. So that's what it was. I like the song. I added it. Okay. Once again, though, the lyrics were kind of like, I could see them really playing this on the radio only because it's like it's what we hear every day on the radio now. A nigga nasty. A lot of that type of vibe. So I could see them putting us on the radio. It's catchy. Next we have Fallen. So Fallen, because I skipped over It Depends, because we've all heard of that. And then we have Fallen, right? Fallen to me, first of all, it's the battle of the runs. Leon Thomas was trying to outdo Chris Brown, baby. Okay, you already know Leon Thomas already with the runs to even begin with, baby. So Chris Brown said, you're not gonna get me. I keep on. Okay, they're going back and forth. They're going back and forth with the runs. They're going back and forth with the runs. Okay, I like the song. Did I add it? No. Like, I don't see it being a song. If it comes on the radio, I'm gonna turn it off. But it's not something I'm gonna run to listen to as well. That's just my opinion. But the song overall is actually a really good song, and it showed Chris Brown's vocal ability because for him to do the type of runs he was doing in that song, and Leon Thomas too to do the type of runs he was doing in that song too, it was like a song that kind of showed off a lot of their vocal ability, which I really appreciated. So for that, I feel like that single in itself was not bad. Okay, that was one of the tracks I feel like should have been kept on on the album. When it comes to Obvious, that should have been kicked out. I don't get why that was there. There's just certain tracks it's just like I feel like artists need to do like a third, fifth, sixth listen, think like, hey, should this song really stay on this album or should it be put off as like a single or something? When I need something to drop, I could drop this really quick. Now I will say the later half of the album is what was the better part of the project. I feel like the later part is where he really started to he started going in. Like one of my favorite songs, the later part of the album was the last song. Present was really good. Something in the Water was really good. That's another song I could see really doing good radio wise. The Something in the Water. Like I'm telling you, it's like as if he realized, okay, this is the type of tracks I'm going for towards the end. But the beginning, whole lot of filler, whole lot of filler. And I'm gonna say this. This is why a lot of people say like Chris Brown's songs sound alike. There's a run that he does in every song. He needs to stop doing it. This is why they're comparing his songs and they say they all sound alike. He'll say a word, right? For instance, let's talk about Call Your Name. That song to me, I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. But he goes, call your name. And then he holds that note. You hear the next track, he says a word. So then people think, wait, didn't I just listen to this? Because he constantly kind of does similar runs. And it's so many tracks. So then with him doing so many similar runs on so many tracks, it looks as if it's the same songs. That's the issue that when I'm listening to him, I'm like, okay, that's what he's doing wrong. Like it's the runs too. He'll say a word and then drag it out. I feel like he needs to really be careful of that because a lot of people are going to feel as if all his songs are just repetitive. They all sound the same. And that's a huge complaint I always see online. But once again, I took the time out of my days to really listen to the album versus just judging it based off what their internet was saying. And a part of them were right, especially when it comes to that critique that I always see on the internet, especially with this project. Now, one of my favorite tracks on the album was For the Moment. I really like For the Moment. I know it's typical Chris Brown and it sounds like a lot of his other tracks, but I really liked it. Like, I like the production value of the song. I could really see that doing really good on the radio. Another track that I loved was Red Rum. Red Rum, like, eight down. Okay. One thing about R&B, you have to kind of know certain terms and stuff that could be catchy and stick in people's brain when you're sing like when you drop the track in the song, because if you have a certain term that's catchy and then it sounds good too when you singing it, it's gonna forever stick in our brain. So I really like that Red Rum song. Like, he really slid on that track. That's another one I could really see doing good on the radio. He has a lot of radio friendly tracks. I noticed in this album, there's a lot of radio friendly tracks. The man trying to get his money. Indeed. Okay. At the end of the day, we are in an inflation. Okay. So I do not think this was the album that Chris Brown's going to take a risk and do something completely different from what he usually does. The man trying to pay his bills. We low-key headed into another freaking shutdown, if we're really gonna be honest with this hentai thing. So Mr. Man wanted to make sure that at least some of these tracks can get some spins on the radio, do some good numbers, so that way, the babies could get that. The man wasn't trying to, like, I feel like, please people's ears to the point where we were gonna be like, oh my god, this is like an iconic project. He wanted to put something out there that people could really vibe to. That's the impression I got from this album. One of the tracks I wanted to talk about was it's called F and Party, and it was featuring Vibes Cartel. As much as you like to play, sometimes Chris Brown, he'll do a little Jamaican thing or here and there, right? This would have been the track. I feel like that track should have been like your version of Work by Rihanna. I hate to bring her up in a video like this, but no shade. Um, you know how Rihanna did the wag 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 and send me out that way? Like, I feel like he should have made his own version of that. Of course, not sampling her music and that song. Don't get me wrong, but I'm talking about like a male version of Work. Because I feel like an artist like Vibes Cartel, that man does not feature with just anybody. Like, you have to be somebody, or he has to know you for him to do a song with you. Like, you just cannot, come in the industry and you just get a Vibes Cartel feature. So I feel like he really should have used that and made an island type of song instead of making it the generic Chris Brown type of vibe. And that's one of the disappointments I had on the album when I saw the feature list and then I saw Vibes Cartel. I'm thinking, oh, we're gonna get like a real island type vibe, and it didn't give that to me. So yeah. Those are the tracks that stuck out to me, good or bad. Now I'm gonna tell y'all out of the list which songs I added to the playlist, right? Because that would show which songs to me I feel like have replay value. Leave Me Alone, Honey Pack, For the Moment, Red Rum, It's Not You, It's Me, In My Head, Something in the Water, Body Goals, Present, and It's Personal. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's 10 songs out of 27. This is why I say sometimes it's not the quality. I mean, it's not the quantity, it's really the quality. Had he had 10 of the songs I included plus 7 more, that would have been a fire album. But I feel like there was a lot of songs in there that were filler. Okay. Let me know what y'all think down below about the album. Now, he did reply back to this criticism and address the fandom because the album is getting mixed reviews. I feel like from what I've seen, more negative than positive, but I feel like some of the negative reviews that he's getting, people did not take the chance to really listen to the album. They're just going off the fact of what other people are saying because it's 27 songs. So a lot of us don't have the time to really listen to the full ass project like that and really take in the music. You feel me? So that's what people like here for. You feel me? So it's just like I feel like it's a lot of people kind of like bandwagoning off of that one opinion. So he took to Instagram and said, just want to say thank you to everyone who listened to this album. Been a lot of mixed reviews, and I could take my audience criticism and opinions. The last 3 albums have come under the same scrutiny and eventually grew on people. Thank you for even taking the time out to listen. Okay. Well, damn, Chris Brown. Of course, it took a little bit of time to grow because one of the last albums had 45 songs. That's 3 albums in one, nigga. Like, you overworking yourself. Okay. Anyways, let me know what y'all think down below about the album, and we're out, babies.